Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Invite others to joining. This morning I'm going to be talking about emotions and expectations. The only reason why we remain in that place of pain and we get hurt and we get broken and we get played on and we get taken advantage of. Emotions and expectations. Again, I'm sharing from two of my books this morning, Being Single as well as Beyond the Pain, on emotions and expectations. I'm going to wait a few more minutes for people to join. I'm doing this, I'm not sharing about coming on any longer because again, when I set that expectation and you don't get what you're expecting, you get disappointed. And this morning I did an impromptu sharing on emotions and expectations for us to be able to understand how God also operates with us. And so today, like I said, it's on emotions and expectations. How come people take advantage of us? How come we fall for the gimmicks and the antiques? How come we don't recognize the signs when things happen to us, but we allow our emotions and our expectations to lead to our breakdown instead of our breakthrough? Everyday life, we face it. We have emotional roller coaster moments and we have expectations that are never met. For those of you who may be watching and who may not know me, my name is Kemi Shogunle. I'm a certified professional coach, an international speaker, and a multi-award-winning author of life and relationship books. My purpose in life is to help others find who they are, experience love for themselves prior to being in a relationship or while in a relationship, and also creating a relationship that will make their lives become better, not bitter. So today, like I said, I'm sharing on emotions and expectations, and I'm going to go back to the very basics, the very beginning, where this all started to help us better understand this. I'm going back to Adam and Eve. And I'm not trying to convince anyone because, again, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not religious. But this is how God showed me things when I was healing 5 years ago and recovering from my painful divorce and all my past pain that I carried. Eve was in the garden alone when the devil showed up and said, "Do you know that if you eat from this tree of good and evil, this fruit, you will gain the knowledge and wisdom and become like God?" And I'm sure in Eve's mind, it must have been like, so there's something hidden that I don't know. Emotions came to play. And she was quick to be deceived to receive that fruit. And she took a bite. And she took it to Adam, and he took a bite. And what happened afterwards, they realized they were naked. They never knew they were naked before. They could see clearly prior. But then what resulted in them becoming aware of their nakedness was punishment. They did not become knowledgeable like God. That never happened because, again, they were being deceived. And that is what happens in this day and age when you get asked a question. People playing on your emotions to ask you a question to gain an insight into how you are and where you are emotionally so that they can give you a temporary solution, but not a permanent solution that takes your pain away, that resolves your issues and make you have, all it does, it makes you have expectations and break you down later on. And then you cannot blame them because you allowed your emotions to come into play. How many times have you heard the salesman say, if you buy this product, it will do this, and you take that product home, but he never does what they said he will do. Your emotions were being taken advantage of. And you were allowed to be gullible at that moment and played on. The same thing happens in relationships. We allow other people to come at our lonely moments and give us the tip of the iceberg, and we let them into our world with our emotions. But what happens? They break us. Our emotions are not given to us to allow people to tap into our knowledge, take advantage of us, and deceive us, but leave us in a place of punishment. God gave us emotions to be able to connect back to Him when we are down. An example of that, you may ask? Jesus on the cross. He said, God, why have you forsaken me? He wanted to give up, but he knew purpose was greater. And when we know and connect to the fact that we are created for a purpose, we don't rush, because purpose is a process. It is not instantaneous. It takes a while for purpose to take place. Just like it takes a while when you plant a seed for the seed to germinate and to begin to grow and become a shrub or a tree. Trees and shrubs and flowers do not grow overnight. It takes patience. And because you were created with patience, but we allow ourselves to become conditioned and allow the culture and tradition and the society to change our DNA outside of what God really created us to be, we allow our emotions to be tapped into, and we begin to be taken advantage of. How often do you hear that? Do you see that advert that says, now is the time to get this? Don't wait till tomorrow. But you get it, and you keep waiting for that thing to happen with the product, and nothing happens. How many times have you been enticed to go buy a dress or a shirt, but after wearing it for a while, it rips because it's not meant to last forever? Emotions will make you connect to temporary wants, then focus on your needs. Let me say that again. And that's all from my book. Emotions will make you connect to temporary wants than your long-term needs. Emotions will break you down, then help you grow. How many times have people said, when you buy into this program, your life will be transformed, but nothing happens? Your emotions led you to connect to those things, but it may not be the time that God has deemed for things to happen in your life, so you have expectations that will never be met. Your emotions should allow you to understand what it means to wait on God for the time that He has deemed for the process to happen, because life is indeed a process. Your emotions should allow you to know how God operates in your life, so you're not running on emotions, but you're learning to wait for God to fulfill the promise. If God could take the Israelites through 40 years in the wilderness before they got to the promised land, what is making you rush on emotions? What is God's timing in your life? Take a look back at some of the things that God has done in your life, and look and see how long it took for God to do that thing, so you don't run on emotions while waiting for the next thing to happen. God operates in seasons. And you have to be able to recognize the season that God is operating in your life and how He operates. We've been taught what to think, but not how to think. I shared that in a vlog, in a live broadcast, The Power of Your Thoughts. We've been taught what to think, but not how to think. And so when you don't know how to think, you're not able to question when somebody comes to play on your emotions, but all you do is dive right into it and fall into the trap that they're setting for you, which may not be part of God's plan for you. Your emotions will make you give in and get hurt than make you connect with the purpose that God has for your life. Ask yourself the question when they question you. And question them when they question you. Test every spirit, the good book says. How are you testing the spirits that come across you? Because like I said in my book, Love, Sex, Lies, and Reality, people come into your life to test, to shape, to break, to mold you. But you have to tame your emotions and not let your emotions tame you so that you can know their purpose in your life. Without knowing their purpose, you will get carried away on your emotions, and you will have unrealistic expectations that will never be met. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. We don't wrestle against humans. We wrestle against the thought process and the words that people come to use and play on our emotions. When somebody breaks you down after a breakup, what happens? You begin to think. You create the emotions. You connect with your emotions. You connect with your thoughts, and you try to process everything. And where does that leave you? In a painful place than in a place of healing and connecting to the lessons learned. And what happens when you connect to the thoughts and to the pain and to the fear is that you repeat cycles. Because you're running on emotions and you had expectations that were never met. And so that leads down to a breakdown instead of a breakthrough. But how are you breaking through? And how are you becoming free and moving beyond the pain? You have to be able to tame your thoughts and not let your thoughts tame you. You have to be able to tame your emotions and not let your emotions tame you. You have to be able to ask the questions when they come with their question to test their spirit, to actually see if they are actually meant from God to help you with your purpose. I talk about your purpose helpers in my book, Being Single. You may want to get that. When you recognize your purpose helpers from your purpose stoppers and your purpose distractors, you will be able to connect to your God-given purpose and live the life that God truly designed for you. The devil used the emotion to get Eve, but when he got to Jesus to test him with the emotions, look, stand on this mountain and look down and see all I'm going to give to you. But Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone. He tried Jesus 3 times with emotional questions, but Jesus never fell for any of it. So why do you and I fall for it? Because we connect to the physical side than the spiritual side of us. The physical side, when you connect to it, depletes you, allows you to become fearful, allows you to become negative, allows you to live in anger and malice and bitterness and strife and resentment and connect with negative reasoning. But when you cross over to your spiritual side, where love exists, where peace exists, where happiness exists, where positive reasoning exists, you're able to question when they come with the deceitful questions, and they get upset when you do that. How many times have you been in a relationship, or somebody tries to get in a relationship with you and you ask the questions and they get upset? Because it's all deceit. They were coming to use your emotions. They were only there to distract you from your journey, from the course that God set before you. But you have to learn to connect with your true essence and connect with the love that you are, so you don't run on your emotions and have expectations that are never met. That's why God's thoughts are not our thoughts, and God's ways are not our ways. Your emotions will lead to your breakdown than it does to your breakthrough. Let me say that one more time. Your emotions will lead to your breakdown than it does to your breakthrough. So this morning, we are 11 days away from 2017. 11 days and 5 days away from Christmas. And my challenge to you during this period is to watch your emotions. Watch your emotions. Don't run on emotions. They only lead you to have expectations, and they only lead to your breakdown. Become mentally strong and be willing to ask the questions, then run on your emotions. The thief can only come to steal, to kill, and to destroy when you allow him or her to play on your emotions. But when you connect to your spiritual side, all you gain is life as God deemed it abundantly. And no one can steal from you what God has given to you when you connect with your true essence. Where are you emotionally, and where are you with expectations? Expectations are never met. They only lead you to the angry place when somebody cannot meet them. You decide who you want to be. God decides the gifts that He's giving to you that would actually make you become fulfilled. The blessings of the Lord make it rich and adds no sorrow to it. The blessings of the Lord make it rich and adds no sorrow to it. But if it's bringing you sorrow because you have expectations and you're running on emotions, it's never from God. That is my challenge to you today. 11 days to the new year and 5 days to Christmas. Ask yourself the question, when anyone shows up in your life to try to play on your emotions and they question you, return back the question. Think before you act and reason before you react. Ask the questions. I've done it so many times this year. People coming to me and saying, hey, we have this thing, we can get you on national TV and do this and do that. And I do a lot of questioning because I know how God operates with me. And I'm not running on man's timing, I'm running on God's timing. And I say to them, how many people have you helped? Give me those videos and let me see what you've actually done, and show me the links on the national TV website so that I can see those people you've presented. And they don't come back. When you're running on emotions, it's easy for people to deceive you because they know you want to be somewhere, you want to attain something, but it may not yet be God's timing for you to get there. And so your emotions get played on. The same way in a relationship, you desire to have a partner, and you've been waiting and nothing shows up, but a distraction shows up. And you run and think, this is the one. You may even ignore all the warning signs and you get connected. And because you've had the expectations, this is the one that will meet your needs. But it was only a want in that moment because you had a craving. And then they break you down, they leave you alone, they end the relationship, and you're back in that place of pain. But you can only move beyond the pain when you learn to control your emotions and not let your emotions control you, and you tame your thoughts and not let your thoughts tame you. I encourage you this morning to get the 2 books, Beyond the Pain and Being Single. I've documented in the books how you can control your emotions and how not to set expectations for people to take advantage of you and rob you from, because when they steal from you, they make you shift from who God really created you to be. And they make you move into who you are not meant to be. Understand how God works in your life. Look at the past blessings. How long did it take for you to get that blessing? How long did it take for God to answer your prayers? Because God does not work with our timing. He works with his own timing. And a day is like 1,000 days before him, and 1,000 days like a day. But when you run on your emotions, you forget about how God operates in your life. And you allow other people to dictate the life that God deemed for you. Then you live the life that he truly created for you. I encourage and challenge you, get the books Beyond the Pain, Being Single, and learn how to tame your emotions and not set expectations, and allow God to begin to birth in you the life of purpose, the life of happiness, the life that no one can take away from you when you do not allow them to play on your emotions. If there are questions, I will take your questions. If there are no questions, I will sign off at this time. And I pray that God continues to teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom, and that we connect to our God-given purpose, and we learn to tame our emotions, not let our emotions tame us, that we can live that abundant life of peace, of joy, of love, and happiness. I pray you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.